This is The Mud Peddlers, a podcast where two nerdy ceramic artists share the behind the scenes of their worlds of clay. We are your hosts, Lindsey M Dillon.
And I am Donte of Earth Nation.
We have a very fun, different kind of episode today, which I feel like is something I've been saying a lot these days, but since we are changing our production schedule a little bit, we are finally answering the call. Y'all wanted more interviews. We got a fucking interview today. So we are sitting here with Linda, who is the now relatively recent owner of Tea Cozy in Sacramento. So Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Come down to the front. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Tea Cozy? And also for some context, because dear listeners, you might be wondering, wait, this is a ceramic show. And it's like, okay, but y'all know ceramics and tea do be tied together. So, and also we low-key love Linda and just wanted to hang out and like shout out the shop because I have been going to Tea Cozy since I was literally 13. Yeah. So it's a whole big circle.
This is actually the only tea shop that I know.
Yeah.
So
it's the only tea shop that exists. Yeah.
In my mind,
This is the only one.
In this reality.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
For tea?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Oh my God,
we don't even say that. I'm bleeping that out.
I'm sorry.
It's going to be a beep. All right. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about Tea Cozy.
Thank you so much for welcoming me onto this podcast. And I'm so excited to talk about all things tea and ceramics and maybe a little bit about some cool stuff with tea. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, my name's Linda. I actually worked at Tea Cozy since 2010. And that was from an internship that I had at a local high school called the Met. And
shouting out the Met.
Yeah,
okay.
Shout out the Met. That's honestly the only reason why I was able to get into this business. It just led me here. And yeah, after I was an internship here, the original owner, Nami Thompson, hired me on, and then over time got upgraded, leveled up to manager. And then,
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah, achievement unlocked. And then I got S tier status and became the owner last year. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm terribly curious, what was that conversation like of becoming the owner? Because I feel like that's in some ways the dream, or at least one of the dreams, right?
Yeah, it crossed my mind, but it didn't seem like it was a reality. I don't come from wealth, and so the idea of like owning a brick and mortar was not in my frame of reality, and it wasn't in my it honestly wasn't in my dreams when I was a teenager, because I was like, this isn't gonna happen for me.
Yeah.
But Nami, she talked to me over the last couple years, and she said, my husband's retiring. I would really like to do that at some point. Can we have this conversation? Would this be something that you're remotely interested in? I was like, yeah, of course, but I have no idea how that's going to happen.
Sure, yeah.
But I found a way, and oddly enough, it was due to the kindness of someone from my high school, the Met, that was able to help me make this happen.
Oh
and
my gosh.
My partner, Chris, who really, really trusted in me and helped me get there. So yeah. It happened. Yeah. So July 1st of 2025, I officially became the new owner of Tea Cozy and took up the mantle, and here we are. We're still standing.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure this place will be around for a long time. I mean,
hope so. Yeah.
It's an amazing, in my mind, Tea Cozy is a Sacramento institution. So it's, I don't know.
Well, you are also in historic old Sacramento, so like
technically this isn't old Sacramento, this is our street.
I'm sorry, you're right, it's historic, but it's not old Sacramento.
Yes. Historic
our street, but my brain just connected old with historic.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with Sacramento, our street, when I first started working in this building, the building that Tea Cozy is in is called the Art House building, which was once called the Fuller building. And there's a lot of history in this building and in this block, this area. We're a couple blocks away from the state capitol, so there's a lot of rich history in this area. When I first started working here, the front of the building was just like broken down, like old railroad tracks and just empty parking lots and just concrete.
Yeah.
And
I remember there was a whole section that was also like down, like a block or two down, that like wasn't even paved, didn't have any lights.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how
it was
much.
A skateboarder's dream. And it was absolutely wonderful, like hanging out in this area, because I grew up as like a little metalhead kid, and it was like, this is just like I could just hang out and listen to my music, walk home, skate around or whatever. But yeah, in the last decade, this place has just absolutely boomed. They call it the Art Street Corridor now. And now it's just a fully realized art district. Mm-hmm. And so the whole area is really focused on the arts, preserving art, building an art community, and it's just blooming with diversity and artistic talent of all forms.
It feels a little bit like, what's a big art scene city? LA? Maybe?
Yeah.
It feels
like
super
LA,
small...
New York, Chicago. I feel like all like the San Francisco, like all the big name kind of places.
Just to sound like an old man for a second, I've worked in this area for quite some time too, right? So for a while here, you're right, like the ice blocks were just like an old rundown place, and it took forever for them to refurbish it. Yeah. And now they sell clothes that are too expensive. Yeah. Way too expensive.
But they also have the whole, like, I think one of the things that makes it being an art district not just like a nominal thing, but like something that they, like, the city actually invested in making this happen because of the whole artist warehouse lofts, which is, at least to my understanding, is essentially it's the city's answer to, like, okay, we know that it is incredibly difficult as a city grows, as an area gets, richer. It's like, well, rich also means gentrified. Yes. And so the warehouse lofts are basically like, if you are an artist, you can have income-based rent payments so that you can have a place to pursue a career in the arts and not have to worry about where you live.
They tried really hard not to, because it looked like they were gentrifying it.
Yeah.
Like the way it was being built, I was like, they're about to gentrify the hell out of this place. And then they were like, no, we're going to try really hard not to go the beaten path of, like, money from gentrification. And so the warehouse artist lofts, you're right, they're just, like, low-income artist housing, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
As low as they can get.
That's the ground in which the seed of Tea Cozy has taken root and bloomed over the years.
Oh, yeah. And then the art house building in general, too, we're surrounded by other, like, historical businesses. Rumpelstiltskin, which is a yarn shop, and has literally everything you can think of for yarn.
Yes, I spent too much money there.
Oh, yeah. And Rarity, which has been here for a long time, a jewelry shop. And then the rest of the building is just, like, local makers. Constellation Marketplace is just, like, a collaboration of all sorts of different artists. And there's Drone Tsutomu, who do all kinds of, like, wonderful artwork. And so, and then the whole upstairs building is just an artist studio. So I feel really fortunate to be in this building and in this community. So,
well, speaking of collaboration, one of the reasons that, like, we all three even, like, kind of know each other is because you, if I remember the timeline correctly, I think you reached out to, was it Donte first, or I can't remember who it reached out to first, but, like, you basically were like, hey, we want to have handmade ceramics in the shop, and you've already had handmade ceramics in the shop for a while, but like, so in terms of the way that Tea Cozy as a shop, both before and, like, now with you as the official owner, like, what has that history been like of, like, Tea Cozy connecting with the, the local kind of artist community or just the arts in general?
Yeah. When I first started working here, there wasn't a lot of local artists being represented in this shop. We do specialize in a lot of international goods, a lot of Japanese teaware, a lot of Chinese teaware, a lot of British teaware. And so people like what they're familiar with, but being in the art house building, being part of, what is considered the Sacramento art district, I really wanted to get more locally made things. And with the tea leaves, that's not really a reality.
Sure. Yeah, no.
But with ceramic ware, it's 100% a reality. And there's really great, artists out there such as yourselves. And of course, why wouldn't I start with people that I respect? And I think that the time that we had reached out to you guys, I was working on a project that involved teas that were inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So fun.
And
so fun.
The collection had to have a ceramic piece because Iroh uses wonderful ceramic ware in the show. And I was like, we got to make this happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember Nami, the original owner, gave me a cup by Lindsey. And it was like a D20 cup. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. And then I knew Donte from historical lore between us. And I was like, okay.
He's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Just lore.
Yeah.
Lore.
Just walking around inside of people's garages.
I don't know how much your fans know Dante's lore.
I mean,
don't tell.
Some of the lore, I think the lore is meant to be secret. Cool. It's meant to be arcane knowledge that only, you know.
There's some stuff that I don't want them to know just because it sounds like I'm smelling my own farts.
Yeah.
But like it's also a much better and more organic process when someone's like, "That was you the whole time," and I'm like, "Yeah, I funded that whole shit. That ran your life."
I will say there's a older wizard and he plays the lute and he connected us and he was like, "You should reach out to Donte."
He is an older wizard.
Yeah.
I respect him a lot, actually.
Yeah.
He's also another person who changed my life.
Yeah, and the only reason why the shop was actually able to happen. It's this wizard will remain nameless.
You know when I be doing stuff that like I shouldn't be able to do? This guy just does it as part of his normal life. Like I have to gain mana to spend energy to do the stuff that people are like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He just walks around and flowers bloom and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful to know that, like, I don't know, for something like you said that couldn't even have been like a dream when you were a kid, happened because of that like community aspect. Like that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. There's some really amazing people in this world. I know the world is absolutely crazy right now.
Absolutely wild right now.
But
mandatory fuck ice.
The only fuck ice and on business.
Yeah.
Right here.
Somebody's mad right now, but your gas is high.
No.
Try about to be gaslit.
Yeah. So but that being said, like there's absolutely gems of people in this world that will make it totally flip around for you, you know. And so I'm really grateful to know really good community members.
Yeah, the crazy thing is too that if you look into a community enough, you'll find somebody that will do not the hard or the crazy thing, but the thing that like you've been struggling with, I guess. Like sooner or later, you're gonna find someone who's just like, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that," and you're like, "I've been trying to do it for 5 years. Like, I'll help you do it just because." Like, I just feel like helping because it took me such a difficult, long path to do it. I'll just tell you how to do it. Oh, and you just gotta find those people. The problem is they're always in a cave somewhere. They're never just like out and about. Otherwise, that information would just be for you, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, that is a good segue to my next question. This is getting back a little bit back more into tea specifically. But so because of the interaction between the like ceramics world and like the tea world, and it's like also like the coffee world, but of course we're in the sacred tea space right now, so I won't bring up coffee.
There's no judgment.
But okay, good.
Here.
Yeah, reality,
You're
no
in a
judgment
safe
either.
space.
But yeah, safe space. Okay, good. Yeah. But so since I think there's probably a good chance that some of our listeners are big tea fans, but maybe don't know a whole lot about tea, and like as Donte and I were talking about, you know, what we wanted to ask you, like we were thinking about like, okay, we kind of want to know some about like tea ceremonies, about like kind of the connection between tea and different vessels, and then I also just wanted to know like what is like a fun fact or interesting thing about tea that you learned that you want to shout from the rooftops.
What's
about
your top 5 facts about tea?
Tell me your top 5 facts. Let's just BuzzFeed this shit right now, guys. Oh my god.
Sorry.
Also, just gotta say this oolong is beautiful right now. Can you actually tell us what we're drinking?
Yeah, so we're drinking top tier shit right now.
I mean, it is.
We're smoking Lao Pack right now.
This is our monkey picked oolong from the 2025 spring harvest, and it's not picked by monkeys. The lore comes from, there's a lot of different stories, but the main story is that this tea is grown at such a high elevation. People were like, the only people that things that could have picked this would be monkeys. Because the trees are literally like, a lot of the time they're on cliff sides. And so it's horrendously, or it was horrendously dangerous. And in some cases, a lot of the cases it still is, but the tea is so good, you know, people will go out and do it. There's a lot of other stories.
I'm very into the process of how like the things get to us to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I talked to you, and I've talked to you probably about it before too, about like cobalt. Like I've stopped using cobalt in a lot of my recipes because of where it comes from. Yeah. Right? And so I try to stay away from cobalt. I'm sure there's things like that in the tea world where it's like, we're just not going to have that because it's killing infants. Just to like have it on deck.
So one of the big things in the tea industry that's a difficulty is that when you're looking at a tea plant, it's usually just the top 2 leaves and the bud of the tea plant that's harvested. So tea is generally and mostly hand-picked still. It's human hands that are picking these tea leaves, and it's hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds annually that's just hand-picked. And so there is a lot of ethical questions in the air about like, these are people that live on these tea estates day in, day out, taking care of these tea plants.
Mm-hmm.
And they get paid a lot?
Yes, and absolutely not. It depends on the situation. So a couple years ago in India, there was a massive protest in the Darjeeling region. Darjeeling, it's a high class tea. It's the champagne of teas. It's
the plebeians among us might call it Darjeeling, which is definitely what I thought it was until this very moment.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. She said it, and I was like, I've been saying it wrong.
I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's okay, listener. Me too,
yeah.
bro.
I look dumb as hell right now.
But a lot of these times in Darjeeling, especially, the entire family lives on the tea estate.
Oh, wow.
And the tea estate will, in the past and sometimes still now, will take advantage of that, and the family will stay there their entire life.
Oh, wow.
But a lot of recent changes have happened because of those protests, and now there's a lot of fair pay, where kids they have healthcare on site. They have, they're trying to send the kids to higher education, and so it definitely does depend on the tea estate. I will not say that problem has been solved,
right?
Like all the issues in the world. But I would say that is a crazy thing to think about. I mean, I won't say like Lipton is being handpicked. That's absolutely not happening. The mass produced teas, your tea bags, those are definitely going to be like probably clipped by machines. But the higher grade stuff definitely still handpicked, because there's people that live their whole lives, whether it's through passion or for monetary reasons, that they have that skill to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's a complicated process, because like the soil affects the tea leaves incredibly, and so when you're thinking about global warming and pesticides, and like if one tea grower is up on a higher hill and you're at the bottom of the hill, you want to grow pesticide free and you want to grow organically, you can't.
Because then it goes down to him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It can get really
everything
complicated.
Everything flows down.
Yeah. Especially with this oolong that we're drinking, the monkey picked oolong. I don't know if you can pull out any of that buttery flavor or any kind of like milky flavor.
Tiny bit.
It reminded me a little bit of the milky oolong that I have, that I've bought from here before.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I made it right then. That is naturally through the tea leaf. There's no flavoring. There's nothing added to it. And that's due to the skill of the tea grower. So oolong, what they do is they pick the tea leaves, and then they'll put it through like a firing process and roll the tea leaves so that the leaves are bruised, and they release these different compounds, these different sugars and different anyways, on the molecular level, they're breaking it down to produce different flavors. And based on how they bruise that tea leaf, you get these different flavors.
Oh, wow.
And so this one's like a hand rolled, they kind of look like little pearls when they're dried. And then they'll do that process over and over again in different amounts of time. I'm probably boring some of you.
No, you know what? They can deal with it. No, no. I mean, like again, like
you can do this all day. I'll listen to you.
There's again, like the intersection of like ceramics and tea. It's nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
It's chemistry.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
I feel like in a fun way. Like the thing that's really I think neat about like handmade stuff or just specialty things in general is that like even if they're from two different worlds, like there are thematic overlaps that I find really interesting, and so I am loving hearing about this side of tea. And again, like so
oolong in particular is a whole art form, and there's major competition in China and especially Taiwan for people to produce like these crazy flavors without it, obviously being any kind of flavoring or fruit or anything added to it. Not saying that those fruity teas are bad, because we definitely sell those too, but this monkey picked oolong and some of our top shelf teas, like they're the product of someone's passion, where they learned it from their parents and their parents learned it from their parents, and so these traditions are just kind of passed down the line, and then they produce something that's just absolutely delicious. And it takes such a long time to develop, because tea plants don't really grow very fast. It takes, I think, 5 to 10 years for a plant to mature.
Oh wow.
And
gotta cycle that.
That's crazy.
And then when you're trying to develop a new flavor, you're taking like, the offspring of these different plants, you have to wait for it to like fully develop so that you can really get the full flavor. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Damn right you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn right you do.
Yes. Absolutely.
You hear that, politicians?
Yes.
Yeah.
You better wait for it to fully develop.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh Dante.
Sorry,
No.
we're
It took me.
tapping into
It
this.
took me a little. It took me a sec to get there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyways, the fully developed teas are the best. So
Yes.
Damn right they are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like them a little bit aged,
yeah,
actually.
I was gonna say some of the aged tea, like pu'er, is actually like a collector's thing. No, so pu'er tea is the tea that's from southern China, from Yunnan province primarily, and it's like the wine like teas where like not in flavor, but the longer it ages, the better it gets, and it's one of the original forms of currency, especially from that region. And so it's like the darkest tea you'll ever have. It's definitely an acquired taste. It tastes like dark chocolate mushrooms.
Yeah.
Very much tastes like it's been sitting in a cave for like 30 years, which is good. You want it to taste that way.
I bought a while back the mini, I'm gonna mispronounce this, but the pu'er mini tuocha.
You did work great. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so good. And they're like, for listeners, they're probably about the size of, I don't know, probably like smaller than like a walnut or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flavor is, if you are a little mushroom girly or a little mushroom non-binary BB or dude or all the genders, then you should try it because it's really good.
Yeah,
anyway, thank you for
100%.
coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, especially if you want to like try, if you're not a fan of black teas because it has a tanniny bite on the tongue, you can always try pu'er and see if that's your thing. But yeah, we could talk about all the different things.
I feel so bad because I love fruity teas and I also love the super dark teas.
Yeah, you like that one.
But I don't like middle ground teas. Not a lot. Like I'll drink them to drink them, but like I'm either getting like Starbucks or I'm getting like I saved this for 200 years. I don't like the middle ground teas. That's probably dishonest to call them middle ground teas. But
I think I know what you mean.
Okay, yeah.
Like, yeah,
I'm trying to be respectful to the tea, but also like.
I mean, I'll drink. I have so much tea.
I'll have.
But okay,
me too.
I am. Really, I'm shocked. So I am curious when you were like, or as you've been, becoming an encyclopedia of tea knowledge yourself, like, do you learn about like the interaction between like the technical interaction of tea and the vessel that it's in? Like, again, for our listeners, we're drinking out of I feel like it's disrespectful to call them shot glasses, but they're very small, probably like an inch and a half tall, maybe like an inch wide.
It's a good foot
little
on
cups. Yeah. So do you know
massively
about
important, super important?
Tell me all the things.
So your teaware across the board has been important since tea's been consumed. It goes hand in hand with the tea leaf. This monkey picked oolong, I don't know if you noticed what I brewed it in. This vessel is called a gaiwan. It's basically a lidded bowl. Has a little saucer on the bottom if you want. But you can drink directly from this gaiwan or pour it into like what we call a friendship pot or a gong dao bei, and this is how we all get the same kind of tasting cup. But anyways,
that's cool.
There's a lot of stuff involved. But I was gonna say some of the most detail-oriented teaware comes out of Chinese tea ceremony, which is often referred to as gongfu cha, or the way of tea, or the movement of tea. When I was being taught by we'll call her Maggie, she from China, studied this thoroughly and came over and taught Nami and I how to do this tea ceremony. And I use the word ceremony very seriously. I don't call everything just a ceremony.
Sure. I
won't get into it. But
ooh, okay. Now that makes me want to ask. But
oh my gosh, if we're gonna talk about cultural appropriation,
bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to that. Let's bookmark that. But I want to hear the rest of what you're saying with this.
But she was part of so we took like a 10-part series of classes with her.
Oh wow.
And there was like 3 or 4 sections of it with her. We're just talking about the importance of the teaware in what you use and how to enhance the flavor of the tea to its optimum level. Oh wow. And so like glassware is often used with green tea because green tea you don't want to retain heat that much. You want to make sure that the vessel that it's in cools off. Also, with the glass, you can see how the green tea's looking, and you can get like the really good appearance of color, and it gives like a cooling effect when you're at the tea table. So, like glassware is used in summer tea ceremonies a lot of time because it'll cool everything off. Ceramic in general, I mean, there's a particular type of clay called Yixin clay, and it's actually practically the main source of it has run out, and so it's an incredibly rare clay. Now I'm getting on your level.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it.
Incredibly rare clay, but it's one of the best for especially preparing oolong teas or pu'er teas because it kind of, you don't use a glaze with it. It's just the clay itself. It's such a dense type of clay. And I don't know all the things about it, but I can tell you the teaware that's made with this specific type of clay is very expensive because it retains the heat so well, but also has like it sort of allows the tea to breathe almost. Like the teapot will kind of sweat.
It's probably porous
okay.
to a degree.
Yeah.
Remember how I'm always like there's a certain school of potter that's like, no, it needs to be watertight. Below, it needs to be vitrified below 0.5% absorption, because usually the sweating pot means that water or liquid is going through the pores, so that's not a good thing. A lot of cultural ceramics don't give a crap about like vitrification.
Yeah,
it's for a specific
like
thing.
Seems like it's supposed to be for that.
And it's, if you sat someone down and explained like all the scientific reasons why it should be FDA standard 0.5%, blah blah blah, fully like everything chemical reaction should be finished at Cone 6 or whatever, they'd be like, I've been doing this. And my family's been doing it for like 300 years.
Yeah.
Shove it up your ass.
Yeah.
So, another thing with this Ishin clay, and of course this would have to be porous, because over time it absorbs, and you're only supposed to use one type of tea with this particular clay.
Because it absorbs the tea over
time. Because it absorbs the tea over time.
And then it fucks up the flavor if you do a different tea.
Well, yes, but also after like 10, 15, 20 years of using that one tea, you get to reward yourself. If you don't have the tea, you just pour water in the teapot and you get the flavor of the tea.
That's so hot.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's probably magic to somebody.
Dude, no, that's I had no
these
idea.
These are absolute gems.
Wow.
I have a pot over there, but it's not like it's probably a mix of the clay, because having 100% pure Ishin clay is like especially a new pot being produced nowadays is very, it's not really a common thing.
You have to get your hands on it and then like figure out how non-vitreous it is to even like try and duplicate it.
Yeah, I wonder if there are
duplication
efforts. I'm sure. I mean, not 100%. That it would ever be the same, but
no, it wouldn't be the same. But
and they have different types of clay that's also being used, like a purple clay that they use from a nearby region. But that Ishin clay, if you're in the tea world, you know that name because it is so synonymous with Chinese tea ceremony. So that clay in particular is important. And then like same thing with the height of the cups. So the cups you're actually drinking out of are called aroma cups. And so they're particularly used to enhance the flavor of the tea, hence why it's elongated so that it goes like, you're supposed to bring it up to your nose so you can smell the tea. Whereas something like this, like while it does have that height, it's more wide at the mouth, so it's easier to just drink, but also helps enhance the aroma of the tea. So anyways, there's every little bit, especially for Chinese tea ceremony, and Japanese tea ceremonies also major importance on like the chawan, the matcha bowl. Donte made some for
Yeah.
I don't know if I can admit that.
She's probably one of the few people that can be like, please make me some, and I will probably make 20.
Yeah.
Throw away 15, and give her 5 that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I did not sign those because I feel like it's weird. I'm not properly trained in how to make them.
Yeah.
I hear that. I made matcha bowls for a client once, and it felt a little weird. I don't know. I don't know that I wish I hadn't, because like I was, I was glad to get the opportunity to, well, first of all, let's be real. It was money, and I was doing ceramics full time by this point. So I was like, well, shit, it's money, but that is like but in terms of like, well, I guess I think it helps that the client was asking for like it wasn't like a super traditional bowl. So I was like, okay, I'm not being asked to replicate, an exact thing. So, but
if it helps, and because
not that I'm looking for it to be excused,
I know we kind of bookmarked this for a second.
Yes, I wanted to.
The cultural appropriation of tea has been there since the British invaded China.
They love
and
doing
so
that.
It's
It's their favorite thing to do.
It's just invade stuff.
It's just take stuff that's not theirs.
Yeah, and it was something that I struggled with when I was first learning the Chinese tea ceremony. And my Maggie, our teacher, was like, "What? You're interested? Like, I want you to learn this. Like, can you please teach other people? Because this is a the another term for it is the art of tea. Less than 40 years ago, it was a dying culture.
Really?
It was reestablished into the community through Taiwan because Taiwan had a big cultural
Renaissance resurgence.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. 30, 20 years ago. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyways, we're in 2026.
Yeah.
It's probably been actually about 40, 50 years ago.
Wow.
Anyways, my brain.
It is weird, isn't it?
It is a weird thing.
It feels like we're in a different timeline.
Yeah. It feels like we're in a different time. But anyways, yeah, this cultural resurgence brought back the art of tea. And then it exploded in China, which is, there's a lot of political talk we can get into, but I'm not going to get into it today because we could sit here for hours.
Yes.
But,
my Nefsai is expensive.
Can't imagine why. That comes from Canada, though, doesn't it?
I know why.
Anyway, let's focus. Let's come back. Let's bring it back.
But yeah. So when we're talking about cultural appropriation with tea, this has been appropriated for hundreds of years. Okay. So if you're interested in tea, you can get into it. If you're making it a ceremony just because you think it's bringing you spiritual change in your life, you might want to take a step back and just try to observe it in a different light. But at the end of the day, I think there's a famous quote out there where tea is just hot water and tea leaves. Okay. And so, I mean, you can take from that what you will, but from what I understand, like, if you're into it, get into it, but don't make it
don't make it cringe.
Don't make
it cringe.
Yeah.
It's the difference in between being into yoga and then, like, saying namaste to everyone you meet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a line of, like, okay, that seems like you're trying to make someone else's culture your whole personality versus just respecting it and making it a thing you like.
Yeah.
And it's an art form. It's a very beautiful art form, the Chinese tea ceremony, the way of tea. And it's very eye-catching because when you're doing this ceremony, you've got yourself centered in the balance of the table, and you're moving your arms a certain way. It's kung fu, like your movement is what is bringing everybody kind of back down to earth, and it's a captivating experience, but it's also a meditative experience, and some people really go out there with it, but at the end of the day, it's a practice of self-care. Scientifically, like, the way how, again, I want to bring it back to the tea that we're enjoying, the monkey picked oolong. I can't make it in a regular teapot. That's just not how it was invented, and it wasn't how the people who invented this tea wanted it to be enjoyed. It's meant to be enjoyed using these types of vessels. And so if you're gonna, be hard on yourself and be like, well, I can't use a gaiwan, or I can't use Yixing clay. Like
out of fear of appropriation.
Yeah, you need to step away from that. And if you really these teas are here for you to enjoy. These people spend their lives creating a tea for people to enjoy and love. And so make it the way that they intended. Put it in a gaiwan, put it in the clay pot, and really take in that aroma and appreciate it. Cultural appreciation, and then there's,
appropriation.
Yeah. So as long as you're, examining those things, I mean, don't be too hard on yourself. We're only on this earth for so long, Yeah. And so, anyways, I'm not going to get all crazy into it.
No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think, again, I think what's really interesting is listeners might know, but I really enjoy Western occultism. I find the idea of Ouija boards and all these things really fun.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about it is that if you're studying occult history, you can't disentangle that from imperialism and cultural
100%.
Appropriation.
Yeah.
And especially if you're tying into ideas around ritual and ceremony. And it's interesting because I think this is me on my uneducated soapbox, I guess, but I think there's a difference between trying to mimic a ceremony and engage in ritual.
100%.
And I feel as humans, ritual is important to us. Like, and, you know, having like a morning ritual, you know, I mean, I think most of us can probably like have the association of like, oh yeah, we'll like grab that certain cup, or we have patterns in our life. And so I think being intentional about the patterns that are in your life and trying to be centered and like, I think that is a practice that everyone can enjoy. 100%. But I think if you are imitating a specific cultural practice without trying to at least educate yourself about the history, I think that, like you're saying, that's where it's kind of need to go like, okay, let's maybe like step back and think about this. Because I mean, I had a similar thing. Like, I remember when I realized that tea leaves were not grown in England.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, I was like, wait,
English
what?
breakfast is not from England.
It's not from Scotland. I was like, oh wait, but how'd they get all this tea then? I was like, oh, they stole it. Yeah. They stole it.
They steal everything.
They do. Oh, God.
You know what the messed up part is? They steal stuff and then they don't even use it. Their food still tastes bad.
Oh my God.
That's the angering part, is they still have like beans on toast.
That's my favorite question to answer, by the way. When people come in, they're like, why is it called Irish breakfast and Scottish breakfast? It's not grown there.
How do you answer that?
Oh, I tell them it's through colonialism. It's 100% like based on... It. Yeah, well...
They stole it and thought pretended it was theirs in the first place.
It's where they had... So the tea that's in those blends is where they had colonial rule over. So English breakfast is Chinese black tea. And I love... Okay, can we get political?
Please, oh my God, dude. Okay. We have said some... Especially in the last few months, like this is I think anyway. Yes, please say things
we're
because
more justified every month.
It's every every hour. Like,
see, we told you.
It's important, especially because it's tied into what we're talking about. I'm gonna tell you
one of my favorite moments working in a tea shop. I'm not gonna describe this lady, but we can call her a Karen.
Okay.
And we can definitely tell that this person is right wing.
Oh boy.
Walked into the tea shop and was like, "Oh my God, I see there's lots of stuff that's made in China." And in my mind, like, yeah, tea originates from
yeah.
The red flags are going off already. And then she walks up to me and she's like, well, do you have anything that's not from China? And I'm like, yeah, we've got, you know, stuff from Japan and India. She's like, well, my favorite tea is English breakfast. And I was just, I kept that snippet of information to me because it was so satisfying. It was so satisfying. And then,
damn, that's crazy. Can you say that first part again?
I think, I don't know if I actually did speak up or if it was, one of my coworkers at the time. But then we did admit to her before she left that was like, oh, you know, like English breakfast is like tea from China, right? And she just did not answer. But she bought it and she walked out the door with it. And so like when you're really like, okay, you don't want anything from China, but this is your favorite shit. Like, okay, for real.
That you can connect that to a lot of other racist acts and racist like wonderful patterns throughout history.
Oh man. Anyways.
Oh my God. Yeah. So first of all, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. That's bullshit.
It happens once a month.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's got it. Because they're the ones with the money who are spent, but they don't. Yeah. They're spending the money. They're the ones who have the money.
We are located in downtown Sacramento.
Yeah.
Blocks away from the Capitol.
Yeah.
I see all kinds of people walking through the store.
Oh man.
That should not be taken as a negative thing because I get to meet all kinds of beautiful people that I never thought I'd meet, and they just happen to be visiting because they're visiting the state capitol or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, so it's wonderful to talk about the breakfast teas because I'm like, yeah, it's where they had colonial rule over, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this plant does not grow naturally in those regions, and it can't.
It can't grow in those regions.
I mean, Scotland has tried, and I mean, there's parts of like in the United States, there's actually a couple tea farms, and we used to source tea from one in Paradise, but then the Paradise fires happened.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff that. But UC Davis is trying to grow tea plants. So anyways, there's some things in development in Northern California, Oregon, and the East Coast, but this plant is super temperamental. This plant is super temperamental. The Camellia sinensis tea plant, which this is another cool, interesting fact that maybe some of your non-tea drinker community members, all tea, white tea, green tea, oolong, black tea, pu'er, yellow tea, purple tea, all of that comes from the same plant. All of it comes from one plant. I mean,
you told me that once.
I remember. Yeah,
there's different varietals of this tea plant. Given that, right? And I mean, like, we're not talking about herbals. We're not talking about your chamomile, your lavender. We're talking about like, you know, the white, the green, the black tea, the oolongs. That's all from just this one plant. And dependent on how you pick it and dry it, that's how you get these different types of teas.
That's amazing.
And I just think that's absolutely incredible. A lot of people that might enjoy wine can kind of see this in that kind of light where, like, depending on the soil that you grow it in, you get this different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the elevation, you get this different flavor, hence the monkey picked oolong. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of different things that can happen to this plant to produce. Like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but can I tell another story?
Yes. Oh my gosh, please.
I'll listen to you. All the time.
So the California tea grower that was in Paradise, we sampled his tea before the fire and after the fire. And after the fire especially, and I didn't realize this until we went up to the property and visited it. But when we were drinking the tea, it was like, why does it taste like cinnamon? There's no cinnamon in this tea. There's no cinnamon in this tea, but it's got this weird spice. And then he invited us to come to his property and help clean up. And, you know, he had a couple of plants that survived. So we were like cleaning around it. And I'm at the base of this plant cleaning around it. And there's pine needles everywhere. And he's like, yeah, the pine needles, they just get into the soil and, you know, just they absorb all of that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's where the cinnamon flavor comes from. It's pine oil.
That's dope.
Whoa,
And
that's crazy.
yeah, so
I thought it was going to be something with the smoke that did it too. Cause like,
Yeah, that's where my
I mean, yeah. No, I thought too cool. Cause
But given that the fires had dropped all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and all the pine needles dried and then went into the soil that was, you know, it just ate everything up.
wow.
And isn't that amazing? I love it so much. And then there's in China and different, you know, parts of the world, they'll grow like stone fruit trees next to the plant and it'll absorb that fruity flavor. It's so amazing.
That's
This
straight
plant-
up magic.
yeah.
That's like straight up magic.
Yeah.
That is
Tea is a beautiful thing, and anyways, it produces. It's just it is a magic plant. Yeah,
I like it more than wine. I know I'm not a wine drinker, but I'd take tea over wine.
Yeah.
If I was president and I had to,
if
I had to choose one, I'd be like, sorry, wine moms, you're done. You're done for the day.
Yeah.
No more bear fruit for you with that.
barefoot.
Barefoot. No more barefoot.
Yeah.
Removing the tea now.
Yeah.
God, do you get the chance to like, because I don't know, again, thinking about like ceramics and stuff, like I heard Dante, I know you've said many times about like how, you know, you want to be able to geek about like glazed stuff, but there's only so much that you can do when you're like at Sac Anime or something and like talking to the customers, like,
Yeah.
do you get a chance, Linda, to like geek out about tea, or like where do you get to go to geek out about tea? Like,
Because we go to NCECA.
yeah, we have NCECA, we have
tea
like
festivals and stuff. Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Or
Do you guys have a tea space where all the tea nerds get together?
Oh my God. Well, we have events, and that's where the tea nerds of Sacramento kind of gather. And
oh yeah, tell
they-
our listeners, especially since we do have some Sacramento listeners,
Thank
about
you. Yeah. So every month we try to host at least 3 to 4 events. This month, we're in March.
we're in March. By the
So-
time it'll be probably. Actually, I'll try and edit it this weekend, so it should be Monday by the time this comes out.
No worries. We do Matcha March Madness or March Matcha Madness, and so this month we focus on matcha in particular, which is the craze. And I don't want to get into how crazy.
Oh,
that
can
is.
we? I'm very curious. I do.
Cool.
I only know about it from Instagram reels, and it's just people making. It's people who are like tea aficionados being annoyed at people who like who are like basically culturally appropriating matcha tea, and that's essentially it.
Okay, so what's your perspective on this?
I just felt like I should bust that open right there.
Yeah, it's
No, thank you.
So
That's the
that
good
way-
TLDR.
Yeah. So matcha, lovely, wonderful, beautiful thing.
What is it? Is it just
It's powdered green tea.
okay? It's condensed
But-
though. It's power. It's like strong though, right?
Well, it's in powder form. You're consuming it. You're not just steeping it in hot water. You are infusing it and like eating it. Which okay, so let's roll it back a little bit.
Okay.
So matcha comes from shade-grown tea plants, which is very time-consuming, very labor. It's very difficult to grow these plants. And given that Japan has a limited landscape to also house the multiple plants, well, not multiple plants, but multiple farms. Anyways, shade grown. Because it's shade grown, it's very rich in nutrients. It's very like this beautiful dark jade green, emerald green color. basically these tea plants produce a tea called tencha. And tencha basically is like the green tea without the stems. And so it's just the leafy parts of the tea plant. So it's very tasty.
So that's like, if I'm getting some of the names correctly, it's like it's closer to like a gyokuro as opposed to a kukicha?
100%.
Okay.
Yes, you're on the right path.
Yay.
Gyokuro name drop. Gyokuro is my favorite.
Gyokuro. You were the one who recommended it. I'm obsessed with it. So good. Sorry, carry on.
Tencha, you will likely never find that being sold as tencha. Tencha is exclusively for producing matcha. And so what they do is I have some. If you guys want to mill your own matcha, we're having we have a stone mill here that we're going to make matcha with.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Is that going to be another one of the like events that you guys have on the docket? Okay,
I've seen people on Discovery Channel do that.
It's fun.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
But it's not fun because it's labor intense. But so they take these tencha leaves, they put it through a stone mill, not metal because metal heats up when you when it the friction. So it's exclusively made with a stone, like a granite material, because it stays cool and we don't want to burn the very precious green tea. Heat is a very important thing when you're talking about green tea because you don't want to burn it, you don't want to basically oxidize it. Oxidation is the thing that we want to avoid with this. But that stone mill, you can't put it through it's a very temperamental thing. It's a very temperamental thing. So typically the stone mills are maybe, 4 to 10 inches across.
Oh, wow. They're
very
really small.
It's usually, historically, very small batch kind of deal. Also, matcha powder, when it was created, when it was, in its height,
When was that?
Exclusively reserved for samurai. And like emperor status and like high nobility. This was not a commoner, air quotes, commoner drink.
I should not be drinking it then. We should not be drinking that.
Well, you could say the same thing about chocolate, which you're eating right now.
No!
So matcha, it historically was reserved for samurai, nobility, the emperor. Like matcha in Japan was very strictly ceremonial. And of course, like, anyways, I'm not going to get, it's going to be a long conversation if we get into like the whole history of matcha, but basically. Well,
I mean, maybe we could do
we can come back.
What's the word? A night pet is a Patreon only episode, maybe. Dear listeners, let us know if that's something that you want, if you want to hear Linda go off about matcha.
Yeah.
Night Peddlers is the more perverted version of what
love it.
Well, I mean, it's not just the perverted version. It's our Patreon only version, and it's where we get to be a little bit more
It's
perverted.
our OnlyFans version of this.
Love it.
It's not OnlyFans, Dante. We don't get naked there.
Well, if
you get naked with your thoughts.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually
and I want to be naked like tea.
Yeah. So
naked.
anyways, matcha is expensive for a reason. It is very difficult to produce. And so you get different grades of matcha because like the spring harvest is typically reserved for the ceremonial grade. And that's like the first picking in like 2 weeks that they're able to get this done, or only so much time to get it done. And then culinary grade is usually produced from leaves that sit on the plant a little bit longer because they have a darker, fuller taste.
Okay.
So when we're talking about culinary, we're talking about what we're mixing with matcha. And so ice cream, batter, milk. And this matcha trend, oh my God. The people that want to use ceremonial grade for their lattes. I will not judge you, but I'm judging you. I will not judge you, but I'm judging you because this powder is so labor intensive, and I have people that come into the shop and they're like, $78 for 3.5 ounces of matcha. Why is it so expensive? I could buy this at Whole Foods for so much cheaper.
Isn't it like a small amount makes a lot? Not a lot, but like a good volume?
Yeah, it's like a quarter of a teaspoon maybe that produces, well, maybe a little bit more than that, but it's not that much. You don't need a ton to produce a really nice bowl of matcha. And so usually we'll sell it in like 30-gram tins or anyways. It's an expensive thing for a reason because people, like I'm saying, hand picking the tea leaves,
Jeez.
shade grown. And when we say shade grown, that is people putting like a cloth material over the plants and keeping an eye on it to make sure that it's not dying from not getting too much sunlight. And then they have to take it off and then put it back on. And then the stone milling of things. You can't put it in too big of you can't have such a big amount of matcha like coming out of the stone mill sitting for too long, because then it starts to heat up like compost does. And so anyways, it's a hot, complicated mess. But let me tell you, this matcha craze, great for us tea vendors, horrible for the growers, because you have such a limited production every year. Now, when we're talking about ceremonial grade, that is really only produced in spring. And then what they harvest is what you get for the entire year. So, like, we'll get people that are like, well, how old is this? Is it from last year? And I'm like,
people will be asking about the harvest dates?
Yes, 100%. And so, anyways, I know that we're getting into the details of things, but yes, the matcha craze, overhyped. You don't need to use ceremonial grade for your lattes. Do the culinary grade. Trust me, it tastes just as great. Just get it from a good source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have something to admit.
You like the matcha lattes?
No, I hate matcha lattes.
That's fine.
So, I have something to admit. I knew nothing about matcha. But I came into your shop one day and bought, like, I think ceremonial grade matcha.
Cool.
And I am a very basic husband. I do whatever the women in my life want me to do, my daughter and my wife.
Love it.
But because of that, when I get stuff, I don't read the instructions.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even look stuff up. So when I think I bought it from you when it was like, I don't know, $60-something for a tin. I took it home and I was like...
Throw the whole thing in? No, I'm just kidding.
That is actually what happened.
The whole thing?
So my
Donte!
Listen, my dumbass. Hold on. Listen. I refuse to... Here's the thing. I don't want to read instructions, so I figure out how to do things that people are like, you probably shouldn't be able to do that.
No.
But also I do it wrong, and then I figure out like what I did wrong along the way.
Oh, bless you.
So here's what happened. I wanted iced matcha.
Oh, no.
And so my dumbass got a giant pitcher of like cold ice water
through the whole tin,
and I dumped the whole tin
oh my god
into like a pitcher of cold ice water. And then I realized, because I didn't know anything about science at this point, like I hadn't even taken any classes. I'm taking classes now and I'm still continuing to take classes. I hadn't taken anything. I was like, it's not going into the water.
Oh no.
And then I was like, alright, fuck it. And
You
I put it down the sink.
You poured it down.
Because I was like, it's not working.
You could have had cold brewed matcha. Which is basically what he were. Oh,
that's what I was trying. I just didn't wait long enough. First of all, to let it like go into the water.
Oh my heart.
And second of all, it wasn't hot water whatsoever, so it didn't speed up whatever reaction that was necessary for it to go into the water. So I came to the store. It all happened within 2 days. I came to the store, bought the expensive ceremonial grade matcha, and was like, I don't know what ceremonial grade means. It's probably the same stuff at Starbucks. It wasn't. Went home, got just to anger the microwave moms out there and dads, a plastic pitcher.
Oh God!
And then it was not glass or ceramic, which is messed up because I could have easily made a ceramic one and waited. Put cold ice in there, put water in there, and then dumped the tin in and mixed it. And I was like, it's not working.
Oh my God.
All right.
Well, the gods appreciate your tribute.
If
you
I'm going to be sent to hell for it,
Sing God's about to like ascend to a different level of godhood from that sacrifice.
I want to get up to the top of the Babylonian tower and him be like, listen, you did tell us you messed up, so it's worth some points. But you do have to go to hell.
No.
You do have to go to hell.
No.
Oh my God.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yeah.
No, I am judging. I am judging hard.
Oh my God.
But then
That's fantastic. I love this story so much.
That is.
I'm going to tell my customers about this.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
And afterwards, I looked it up and was like, so I fucked up 4 different ways.
Oh my God.
All of which are not reversible.
That's awesome.
Like every step that I did was detrimental to it not being messed up.
That's fantastic.
And I did it 4 different ways. And then I gave up and was like, no, I'm not. I know I'm not doing this right, and I'm not going to go back to the shop. So
that's okay. Yeah.
You know, it's at least. Oh, thank you.
You're
so
good.
much. It's well, You know, if you ever buy some more, at least you know now.
I won't. I'm actually barred for life.
Oh, okay.
You
All
can
right.
always come to our matcha demonstrations, and I'll show you how to make a good cup.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
should.
yeah,
Don't
so-
you have a newsletter?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where can people sign up for your
We
newsletter?
do,
That
and
way
I
that
haven't put
people
one
can
out
know.
in months.
Okay,
No,
that's fair. You are, again, you
You're one
are,
person.
You are
Yeah.
one person. You are still relatively new doing this, like,
yes,
like
tax season is approaching.
Oh, bro,
sorry.
yeah.
But yeah, if anyone is interested in the mumblings and the happenings of Tea Cozy, our humble little shop, we are located at teacozy.biz, B-I-Z as in zebra, teacozy.biz, not .com. You will get us mixed up with another tea shop. But yeah, we're located on 10th and R in Sacramento, 1021 R Street. What else?
Yeah. I will
phone number?
I will
No, I'm
also list everything in the show notes as well,
Cool.
dear listener.
Cool. Newsletter gets sent out maybe once a month if you're lucky, but
That's
honestly,
that's great.
Same.
More than that, it
Yeah.
could be too much in the inbox. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the other like events that you have done? What kind of events do you want to do in the future? Like, what are
Yeah.
some of the?
Yeah. So this month in March, we're doing Matcha Madness, however way you want to say it. And we're focused on matcha, so you can come in, learn how to make a proper bowl of matcha. You can taste against culinary, ceremonial grade. We're also doing a mill your own matcha. So we have tencha leaves that we have a stone mill. And then
So cool.
you're going to make powder, and you're going to taste that and try it against the ceremonial grade and understand why ceremonial grade's so expensive.
That's a good practice.
That is
Yeah.
that's a really good
It's
idea.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love seeing people's expressions when they try this stuff. It's awesome.
They're like, oh, mine is trash. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, that's why it's so expensive.
It takes hours. Anyways, so yeah, we have that this month, but we also are doing a puer series in conjunction with another tea shop called Blue Willow. Also awesome tea shop for anyone that's in the Bay Area. And it's like all the tea cakes are all about the different phases of the moon. And so we're trying. I know we get a little spooky around here.
Yes.
And so we were trying these different teas within 2 days of that particular phase of the moon. And so we try to be intentional with certain things. We also do gong fu cha. You know, sometimes we do it ceremonial style. Sometimes we keep it grandpa style and keep it nice and cozy at the Tea Cozy.
I've heard. I learned about grandpa style just
Yeah.
recently, and
It's
I
awesome.
love that. I love that.
And then we'll do like herbal blending classes or floral arrangement classes. We have game nights. Literally anything you can think of with tea. We want to do a tea club at some point where people can just hang out. And we're talking about doing maybe like a read your book, have a hot cup of tea kind of night.
that sounds so
We're
nice.
trying to get.
Cozy night?
We're trying to be cozy. I'm trying to make the shop cozy. You know, I'm trying
They
to get.
said the name.
Yeah.
Take a shot.
So sorry.
Trying to get the David Lynch velvety kind of curtains,
Ooh.
that vibe into my shop.
Oh,
And so,
hell yeah.
shout out David Lynch. But yeah, anyways, yeah, we have anything you can think of, or if you want a particular event, you could just shoot me an email and I'll make it happen probably because I'm a sucker and I'm a people pleaser. But yeah, we try to keep it creative here. And then we will be doing sake anime in the fall. I share
Yeah.
a booth with Donte. and-
Linda's one of the few people that can like summon me for an event, and I'll probably drop stuff to come do it. I'm pretty tied to her. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm serious. I'll tell other stores the heck off to like come do whatever Linda wants.
Yeah,
I love
and we've
that.
got I still have some of Lindsey's cups in the shop, and I have some of Donte's pieces in the shop. And so
It's because you won that. You win.
yeah.
Yeah, no, pretty much you are basically like, unless Guillermo del Toro
Oh my
came
God.
up to me and was like, Lindsey, I want you to make some mugs for one of my movies.
Wow.
Like, I don't really, like, with having this day job now, one of the blessings of that is that, like, I really get to only do the projects that I want to do.
Yes.
And you are basically the only person these days that, if you were like, Lindsey, would you want to do a project? I'll be like, yes, Linda.
You have pretty high
Lindsey, do you want to
Absolutely.
do a project? No.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've talked about a few different things, but we'll have to leave
Yeah,
that for the
yeah.
future for our listeners to hear. But
Yeah,
all right, well, there's
fun.
two, because again, I know we really could talk forever. There's
Yeah.
a couple quick questions I have.
Yes.
They were going to be longer, but we are running out of time. And then Donte,
Sure.
I want to make sure you get any questions that you want as well.
I'm good. You can have all my time if you want. I'm
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
I will take it all.
I see Linda enough.
Okay, so one of the things, because again, as prepping for this episode, since it is a little bit It's still going. The door. There are
There's ghosts in the building.
there are ghosts in the building, and they are trying to open up the door. They want tea.
Yeah.
It's the spirits. Sorry. This is very Ghibli coded.
It's the historical R Street. Historic.
I love it.
Do you think millennial ghosts at like try and get the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, absolutely. I will be that ghost.
Gen Alpha ghost.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Skippy toilet.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
You're good. So again, because this is like a little bit tangential to the core of what this podcast is, which is ceramics, I did want to ask, like, so I think for our listeners, one of the things I wanted to know is, or one of the things I wanted to maybe help them with is like that process of reaching out to a business to say like, hey, do you want to collaborate? Or like, hey, can I, have my work in your store? Like, are you interested? And I think from you being on the business side of that, like if an artist was to come to you and say, hey, I make ceramics, would you be interested in having my work in your store? Or basically, what would you be looking for? How would you want someone to approach you if they were interested in working together with you to like do consignment or wholesale or something like that? Like, what advice would you give to an artist who is thinking that? Like,
great question. I'm still learning how to do that as a business owner, like talk business with local artists. But the one thing that always keeps me interested in talking with people, like about commission work or what may come, is building a friendship. I mean, you can, if you want to just keep it strictly money, I mean, that's you. But I'm a small business owner. I'm deeply rooted in trying to provide my customers something that's quality and something that I can trust. And so if you want me to respect your business, come and respect mine. If you really want to go above and beyond, like working with tea shops, especially, the importance of the tea ware, like we talked about that a little bit earlier. You can ask the tea shop owner, like, what are things that do sell in your shop? I mean, it depends on the owner, of course, if they want to give that, information. But if you're making, cause I know like some of the stuff you make is like steins.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you walk into a tea shop with steins? Probably not.
Yeah.
But if you come in, also don't bring your tea ware or your ceramic ware just to talk with the owner, because that owner or the manager, whoever's working, probably has a lot on their plate. So maybe set up a meeting in advance. Don't walk in blindly. And if you do walk in blindly, walk in as a customer or walk in as someone who just wants to, just chat. Because whoever owns that business, while they might not look like they have a lot on their plate, they certainly do. And just be respectful. You don't step in front of a customer who's there, or just get involved in your community. If you do want to, with me personally, of course, you have to ask Lindsey and Donte if you can have your ceramic ware here first. But, I'm just kidding.
Hey, rising tides raise all boats.
I know, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you want to like get in touch with your local tea shop or my tea shop, and you want to sell your ceramic wares there, just walk in, build a friendship. I think that if you want to establish your art in a community, then you got to be a part of that community.
You got to camp for a little bit.
I like that.
Got to camp a little. Sometimes, and I'm not trying to make this about me. Sometimes I get people who message me, and because they have that parasocial relationship on YouTube, they have like this, hey, what's up? And they'll like cuss at me like straight out the gate. Not in a rude way, but what's up, fucker? And sometimes I'm like, listen, I know you've been watching my YouTube channel for like years, but I'm sorry, I don't know you like that. You have to wait a bit. I have people on my Discord that I've known for like years that can kind of like message me for help with anything, or if they want me to like reformulate a glaze and help them out with that or something. But like sometimes I do get people who just like show up like, help me boost my YouTube channel, and I'm like, I don't know you.
That's a full-time job.
It really is.
And like,
it really is.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I've been pushing my editor more just because I don't have time now with the new job.
Yep. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah, but like Linda's kind of right. Like ease into it. Don't just like show up with your stuff.
Yeah, I think that recognition, like you were saying too, about like the business owner may not look like they have a lot on their plate, but believe me, they do. So the other question that I wanted to ask before we get to our final question is how have you been navigating the stress of being a new full like top S tier business owner? And then like, because again, I feel like as people, we can all, whether it's tea or whether it's ceramics, we all understand stress and we all understand like reaching our breaking point. And I think there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of folks for that talk about like, okay, like what are your coping mechanisms? But I think specifically what I am curious about is, what do you do when your coping mechanisms don't work? Like when what you normally do to reduce your stress or to just navigate things, like how do you cope when the coping mechanisms fail?
I depend on other people so much for that.
What does that look like for you?
It looks like picking up a phone and actually calling, or I know that we're man, I'm a child of the 90s.
So are we.
And calling someone was that era. And I dropped that for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to shoot a text and then like, yeah, if we talk, if we see each other, cool. If we see each other in months, whatever. But hearing someone's voice definitely sets some things off in your brain and kind of resets you. And so I'll call a friend that I haven't talked to in months and just say, hey, like, are you good? Like, I'm not doing good. I need help right now. Can you please just tell me about your life? And then maybe I can put things into perspective. So that is really helpful. Your personal spiritual practices, that is always helpful. Exercise. Hate doing it. But it works.
Yeah. It does be helping with those endorphins.
Or if exercise is a scary wood, if exercise is a scary wood, just go for a walk.
Yeah, bro, I'm a big fan of walks.
Just breathe outside if the
steps
air is okay to breathe.
Yeah.
If it's not acid raining,
yeah. But I love like going out in nature. I love going to Yosemite, where like the mountain is just overlooking you and you're like, oh shit, I'm small.
Oh yeah.
That is incredibly grounding, and for people that might not have the accessibility to go that far, you can just look at a tree, or go to the river and try to understand that those things have been here a lot longer than you have. Yeah. And one thing that always kind of, I'm sorry, we're getting into like the personal.
Oh, if you're up for sharing it, I'm here for it.
I'm actually all for it.
Humanity has been here for a long time. Indigenous peoples have been here for an incredibly long time. You know what I mean? And so when you're looking at the environment around you, consider the things that you're dealing with and consider, your ancestors, other people's ancestors, and what they went through. And taxes are scary. Seeing a loved one in the hospital is absolutely tragic. Dealing with anxiety, things that maybe your body reacts to without your brain even realizing it, these are all like really, really challenging things, but you're not the only one to go through this. And there's so many other people out there who can talk about their experience and help you get through it. And so pick up your phone, call your friend, use that landline. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that. I feel like we normally get the advice of, put your phone down, but this is a really lovely example of like, no, pick up the phone and connect.
Well, use the phone for what it was meant to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, don't doom scroll for 7 hours and think it's going to get better.
Yeah.
And, that's the message.
For some people, I mean, like, there's like certain like anxiety apps that can help with like the calming process. Like maybe you don't have a phone number that you can call in your book, There's like different breathing techniques. One of my friends is, I have two friends that are art therapists, maybe doing some artwork. And the thing that they tell me the most is just to breathe and focus on that breathing. You can't control everything in the world, and sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
So not to sound.
And everybody has their own.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Everyone has their own way of coping too, or have coping mechanisms.
Or just
like
break your ceramic ware that you hate.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Have a link day and just smash some mugs.
Lindsey and I were talking about breaking some of our seconds, and I was trying to explain to Linda that like that's for potters. That's a culturally relevant thing that we do. Especially if you produce any work, even if you're a small batch artist, on like a regular basis. right? And I think that's a reaction that we get a lot because we tell like people who are not in our cultural field, like, oh yeah, I have to do like,
No,
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. When dear listeners, when I told Linda that I was gonna smash all those, because if you were here at Sac Anime, you saw that a lot of my mugs said, save me from the hammer. All of those mugs have yet to be smashed, but that day is coming soon.
Yeah.
When I told Linda, she was like, huh.
People are always like, no,
Yeah, it's like, it's gotta be done.
It's something that potters do, especially if you produce.
cathartic.
We have a second stay, or we use them as other things, but like over the course of 20 years, how many succulent pots with cracks in them do I need in my house? Like not everybody has a garden you can make a graveyard into.
I mean, you can make any yard a graveyard.
With enough bodies, any yard's a graveyard.
Yeah. All right. Well, last thing, Donte, do you have anything that you would like to ask? Because I have definitely been taking over. My apologies, but I have been so enjoying this conversation.
I feel like a lot of the Mud Peddlers episodes are Donte heavy anyway, because I go on like a train of explanation of stuff that I sometimes am completely wrong about. Like sometimes I'll explain something that I just learned, but it's obvious I don't know enough about it to explain it, and then I'll get an Instagram message of like, you got it like 90% of the way. You're missing the important 10%.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be someone that'll respond to this episode and be like, she don't know what the fuck she talking about.
Oh my god. Well, you know what? Come at me.
Big gamer girl for tea, dog.
Oh my god. They're going to have to get through Donte and I first.
Spare me.
Yeah, no, I will not tell you, and I will block those people. Be nice.
I've
be
only
nice,
been
friends.
in the tea industry for maybe 16 years. Okay,
That's a long time, bro. That is, you have the chops. All right. Well, so the last fun thing I wanted to ask, which is kind of becoming a thing that we ask people in interviews.
Oh, you're gonna ask that?
Yeah. So if there was an alternate universe and you never got into tea, what career do you think you would have?
I would be a roadie.
A roadie?
100%.
Wait, like
for music.
Like for music.
100%.
Would you be the artist?
So
isn't a roadie a groupie that doesn't have any sexual things with the band?
I don't know.
They just move with the band.
that depends on the band.
Okay.
That's a whole other conversation.
Tell me your vision of what being a roadie is.
Okay, so when I was in high school, that was my dream, was to, not necessarily to be a roadie, but to be a musician. And I just wanted to be in bands. And halfway through my musical journey, I was like, I'm okay at playing instruments. Like, I'm pretty all right, but there's so much talent out there. I just want to see that talent succeed. And I grew up going to see lots of bands when I was growing up, mostly in the heavy metal scene. And
I don't think I knew that you were a metal person. I've been getting super into metal the last 5 years.
Yes.
That's so rad,
dude. Her Instagram
dude.
feed affects mine, actually.
Bro, yes. Okay, so we're going to have to talk about that off air, but
100%,
carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
But like I'd go and see bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Death Angel when I was a kid, and I would see these people in the background setting up these rigs, and people on tour, like the bus drivers, like everything that gets involved in the behind the scenes to make this happen. I just love seeing people shine. And I think in an alternate universe, if I was not in the tea industry, honestly, in this universe, I am actually a roadie a lot of the time for my friends' bands. But
What?
I think
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you
I
still
manage
got
a band. I'm not going to mention the name on here, but
What? That's so rad.
yeah. So being a roadie, I love driving. I love musical gear. I love helping people. So it just makes sense that if I could just full-time travel and help musicians just be at star status. Yeah, it does. It's not I'm kind of glamorizing it right now because
I'm sure it would be exhausting.
Being on the road is not a luxurious life. You get sick. You stink. You sleep on people's floors that you would never step into their house otherwise. But anyways, yeah. I think if in an alternative universe, I would probably be a roadie, which is as close to it as a real life adventure as you can get, really. So,
I love
or
that.
maybe even a manager, like. Do the managers go with them with the bands?
Well,
I don't know jack about rock band.
It depends on the industry, but I would say for like bigger touring bands, maybe not. I do manage a local band here in Sacramento, and I go on tour with them because they need help. They don't have anybody. They don't have roadies I'm not getting paid to be a manager. I'm doing it because I love these guys, and I want to make sure that they get their shit, their ducks in a row.
Are you still going to be able to do that even with running the shop?
I have been.
That's so baller, dude.
It's kind of crazy.
That is like
it's
time management skills to be envied.
I'm not saying I'm doing a good job, but
no, you just go into sleep debt.
Yeah.
You don't get better time management. You just go into sleep debt.
Yeah.
That's fair. Wow. Well, Linda, thank you so much for sitting down and taking time at this Thursday evening, and just sitting in your shop is amazing, and it has been so much fun chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your perspective and your experience and all this. It's been really delightful.
I'm so honored to be on the Mud Peddlers podcast. Like, oh my gosh, I love you guys so much.
We're gonna shout you out so hard.
Yes.
Oh my god. So hard. All right, ladles, gentle spoons, and all manner of fine cutlery. Fare thee well. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Mud Peddlers. We would love to hear from you, so if you want to share your thoughts about the episodes or just see what Donte and I are working on in our studios, come say hi. You can find links to my social media at lindseymdillon.com. That's LINDSEY, M as in monster, DILLON.com.
And you can visit my pottery shop or see what I'm working on at earthnationceramics.com. And you can find me all over social media at Earth Nation Ceramics. It's spelled exactly how you think it's spelled.
And if you want to support the show, hear some bonus episodes, and see some behind the scenes of my work, you can support me and the show at patreon.com/Lindsey M Dillon. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.